What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy with Show. I'm Dave, that's Joe, and today we're going to continue the conversation of Quicksilver. Can you hear me? Hey, am I coming through? Okay.
Yep.
Today we're going to continue the conversation of Quicksilver and where we're at. The last, I'm going to let Joe pick up on the summary of where we were because I don't remember, but I'm excited to talk about it. I'm almost finished with the book. So, life update. I've started painting little D&D miniatures, and I've decided that I'm going to listen to the books while I paint D&D miniatures. Granted, I only get to paint like one day a week because I play volleyball 6 days a week. But yesterday, I got to listen for a few hours. So, I'm almost done with the book. Joe.
Nice. I've been done with the book for quite some time, as we know. I think like a month ago at this point, maybe. But here we are, continuing on our journeys. I believe last where we ended off was like maybe around chapter 15-ish, where they had Fisher and Osha, as he calls her.
Little Osha.
As he called her, have like left the palace. She's bound by the oath, and they just got to the tavern that has a bunch of different like creatures other than just the fae and humans, so like the sprites, and we talked a little bit about that. We haven't, I guess, kind of the next in line would be like when Ren arrives at the tavern, and just what happens kind of beyond that. But without further ado, let's talk nerdy.
Let's talk nerdy. Let's get into it. So the book itself is coming along really well. It is really gripping. It's a great story, which we've talked about several times. This book is solid. It is really good. If you are on the fence, you should just get it. You should check it out. It is fantastic. We're not sponsored. Wish we were. That'd be cool.
Come on, Kelly Hart.
Yeah, come on. Our 0 viewers would love to see this, you know. But anyways, the book is really good. It's a lot of fun, and I think after the bar, you really get to see kind of the true Kingfisher, who he is, like as a person, how he is. And now that I'm getting towards the end of the book, that he explains a lot of it, but I'm not going to get into all that yet. You know, but you get to see Saris and Kingfisher, like they develop them more as characters. Carrion, they develop him more as a character, and all of that.
Well, it kind of starts before they leave the bar, because like once Ren gets there, I think like they start talking too loudly, so people start noticing them, and then like they actually recognize both Ren and Kingfisher, and they go from Kingfisher's this like just asshole of a dude, just like this aggravating outcast, by the king, that kind of thing, to you get to see like a different side. These people in the tavern are like, you're legendary. You've saved this person. Like you fought, and like it's a bunch of different people walking up and be like, I remember you from this battle. I remember you from this battle. So you kind of get to see like, oh wow, so he's not just this outcast that happened to show up when the Quicksilver called. He's actually some kind of legendary hero that is like now ashamed for some reason.
Yeah, and don't they like kneel before him and like celebrate him as he's walking out? And he's like, "I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I'm not the person you remember." And they're like, "You fought with my brother. You saved his life. You saved this town." And he's like, "No, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm not that person anymore." And all of that. And this is on the way to Kalish, right? And
which is his kingdom. I guess that him and his mother had to flee. Well, not flee, but
they were required to leave.
Required to leave, ordered by the king. But I guess before they get to Kalish, they have to step through like a shadow gate, which again, Saris is like, I'm not doing that. But it kind of ties back to the oath there that she swore, and he's like, actually, you are. Step through the gate.
Yeah.
She's like, the whole internal monologue of like, oh, she wants to like fight and do anything, but her body just literally forces her through the gate.
Forces her, yeah. And she talks about how he's an asshole for doing that, right? And also, let's go back to the art of the deal. Man, she sucks at making deals.
It's like, just go try to get my brother, and I'll do anything you say, no questions asked, or without whatever. It was like, wow, okay, you didn't think that one through.
But she didn't get injured. She didn't get hurt. She was scared. But ultimately, the Shadowgate did get her to Kalish unharmed. right?
Well, I don't know. Was she horribly injured? I guess not. But I mean, she did literally like pass out, throw up, and like have to like woke up like the next day.
She was
In
sick, not injured, Joe.
well, I mean, it was inflicted by the Shadow Gate, so that is an injury that was inflicted by the Shadow Gate.
I mean, it could have been, the could have
Because
like
she
sped up the
expense it
flu. Who
because
knows?
she experiences excruciating pain. It literally says that.
Oh yeah, I guess it
So
does, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's more injury versus sickness. It was both. It was sickness and injury, but like not anything lasting. It's just more of like uh, she just gets crushed by the gate because apparently, well, they didn't know that that happened to humans either because they're like, yes, it sucks going through the first time, but it gets better. But they had never actually had a human walk through the gate, which again, that's rolling the dice here. Like, yes, you're
Yeah,
only alchemist. You're just going to let it walk through.
yeah, that's a little sus. I remember that part now. Yeah, you're right. It was excruciating pain to the point that she got sick. And then, did they have a healer, or was it just something that she got over fairly quickly? I don't remember because that transported her straight to Kalish, didn't it?
Yeah, it's stretched what thousands of leagues or something like that. Like it's just a incredibly vast distance that was like they transported through. So I mean that's why they did it. They didn't have months of travel time to travel on horseback, where they could just step through a portal. And she's like, "Well, why didn't you do that from the inside the castle? Why did we have to go through this crazy, scary forest and all that?" And it was like, well, you had to be outside of like 100 leagues or whatever away to make it where the king didn't know,
Like sense it, yeah.
didn't sense the magic and immediately show up. And apparently, Kalish is safe because there's wards that his father put on it to make it where anyone who want to cause him harm can't enter. So the king can't even go to Kalish, from
Yep.
my understanding, right? So,
Which is also why he wanted to go in the middle of the night, because he's essentially kidnapping Ceres from the king, which we haven't even seen the repercussions of that yet, right? But kidnapped Ceres, the only alchemist the kingdom had, for his own personal cause, which is fine. He went and got her, right? Why can't he take her? It is what it is.
Finders keepers, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
She should be able to choose, I guess. But I mean, her oath allows Fisher to choose. So
Yep, by proxy there. And so they get in Kalish, which she's expecting. Like he's telling her that they're going to a war camp, so she's expecting like this, tent set up everywhere and fighting going on and fire pits and smells and grossness. And they actually like she wakes up and she's inside this giant room with like multiple beds, right? With her friend that I'm bad with names, but their friend that Fisher also, the one who got instead of her brother, Carrion. So they're literally like it's this giant estate full of giant rooms and like different portraits of the family, and like it's like super calm and peaceful.
It's his castle. She's in his castle.
It's in his castle basically instead of this war camp that she was expecting. But and then it kind of introduces, like you said, a liar side that we hadn't seen yet. There, he has this servant, it's a fire sprite, and like,
dude, the fire sprite is so cool. Like, it's just so much fun.
And he's like overjoyed to see, Fisher, and like Fisher's actually actually gives him a hug, right? Like actually embraces him and like
kneels down and hugs him. Not even like just like a little pat thing. He actually kneels down and like hugs him, shows affection. This is the first time, I think it even states in the book, it's the first time that Ceres saw King Fisher outside of his grumpy, bossy mehness.
Yeah. So like definitely like starting to break back that peel of like this guy is just this rude, arrogant jerk versus you see the interactions at the tavern, then you see the interaction with the fire sprite, which I believe his name is Archer. It's who's overjoyed to see us. There's like, all right, so there's definitely more to Fisher than what we've been seeing, and I'm trying to think. Like he also kind of introduces her to the forge at Kalish, right? And he's like, yeah, you can go as soon as you help all of my people. And she's like, all right, that doesn't sound too bad. And then he shows her this like giant
Yeah.
stack of relics, right?
So context, they make another deal, right? So they are like, okay, I'll make a deal. You can go home as soon as you make enough relics for all of my people. All of my people, bro. Who agrees to that? And then Sarah's like, oh yeah, that's easy, done. You ain't even made one. How
Right,
one.
She hasn't even figured out how to do it yet, but she's like, yeah, all of your people done. One, you don't know how many people he has. Like, why would you not ask a clarify? You've already messed up once and said you're going to do whatever this guy says. He's giving you basically an like a get out of jail free card right here, where like you can go back home, and you don't ask any clarifying questions. Like,
yeah,
he's already got you. He's already got you once. I mean, you're just like, I'm cool with it.
Since he's in here, this is the most Joshua West kind of deal you can make. Right, like it's crazy. It's not a good deal. How you not ask the specifics? It's all in the details. You know what? Be out here just making.
Yeah, I wish this was my new digs. It's like a cool virtual background. I thought I would try out today, but yeah. So it's probably some of the deals you've made with Josh on Magic from some of the stories I've heard. He doesn't like Simbra.
Listen. We've made some solid deals. We've made some bad deals. Josh has made some terrible deals. Okay.
Yeah. But like, again, like, so she agrees to this. Then they get to the forge that he shows her. Wes says, "Don't trust Nate's deals." I agree with that, but Saris should not trust Fisher's deals, at least without like, how many people is all of your people? Like, ask some questions. Like, don't just blindly walk into yet another deal that you have to hold up your end of the bargain for. But they get to the forge, and he like shows her like one stack of relics, and she's like, "Oh my god, that's so many." But then like he's like, "Oh, here's the rest of them," and there's literally probably 15,000 relics that she has to make.
Just crates on crates that are full
of just crammed full stacks on stacks of relics, and she's just like, "Oh my god, what did I just agree to yet again?"
Yeah, that's when she gets pissed off at him and realizes she's stuck in Kalish forever, right?
Basically, yep.
And she was like, "Well, what if I don't do it?" And he's like, "You will do it," you know.
Yeah.
But then, so my wife is the reason I started reading this, and then I bullied Joe into reading it, right? So part of these books, the forced proximity is a trope. So we watch a lot of anime. We're used to tropes, but I didn't really understand it. I didn't notice it until Steph pointed it out. But I guess this is a very popular thing throughout these books. They take two people who bitch and complain and nag, and they're like, you cannot separate from each other, right? And then over time, they grow closer. They figure out they're not complete assholes, and then they, fall in love, do their thing, all that stuff. And I guess this is kind of where, I guess it didn't start here. It started from leaving from the kingdom, going to Kalish, right? But their forced proximity, her being stuck next to Fisher. But this is where you see it kind of taking that next step, and her seeing the softer side and actually opening up to who Fisher is as like a person.
Yep. Even though she's still fighting at this point, like she's still telling herself that she hates him. And it's kind of like a back and forth. If he's like, "Oh, do you hate me now? I can tell that you don't." It's like, "Oh,
yeah." Again, the Fae had super smell, and when you are hot to bothered, right? You produce pheromones that the Fae can smell. So, like, he knew that she did not hate him as much as she let on that she hated him. So, and it's very graphic and specific in the book.
Yeah, and I guess you could hate someone and still be like attracted to them. So I mean, I guess
100%.
she's that's fair
That could
from
lead to
his
some of the
perspective.
funnest nightly activities you've ever had. I mean,
And then but he's also starting to try to, I guess, get her to warm up to him because he said basically Valen told her to come to dinner.
well,
Uh,
that's because Ren. So Ren has told Fisher, Ren bitched at Fisher for the oath that he made her take. And then he
right.
bitched at Fisher again for forcing her through uh, the hole, the warp, right? And
Yeah.
then Ren has told Fisher that he needs to get to know her, that he needs to take the time to treat her like a person and all of that, which reluctantly Fisher decides to invite her to dinner, which is where she walks in. There's a massive long table, right?
Yeah.
And on one side is Fisher. There's a table decoration thing that blocks the whole table. On the side is
So
Sarah's, which is hilarious.
yeah, so she can't even see him, and they're basically yelling back and forth until she was like, you know what, this is stupid, and she gets up and she moves to the seat like like walks, takes her plate, walks all the way to the end, sits right beside him, and then like this is kind of where you see some of Archer's the funniness of Archer. Like he walks in and just like has basically a heart attack, like starts choking fire and stuff like, cause I guess just based on where she's sitting, because apparently that's not customary for a guest to sit right beside the head of the table.
So it tells you, like, it doesn't tell you what the custom is, right? But it shows you how deeply rooted the Fey customs are to like these people and how important it is to all of them. And it's referenced again later in the book as well. But the Fae, even just in this book, they are a well-developed culture. It's not just like a passerby. They do a great job giving you the little nuances and like the layers of the Fae culture, what they do, what they appreciate, how they approach things, why they do things. So again, written
Yeah,
really well.
yeah. The world building is great in this book. So uh, and like so they get through that, but like halfway through the dinner, like they get attacked, right? Like, they just like these what's basically zombie kind of things, vampire zombies, something like that, like bust through the windows and start attacking them. And Ceres does, decently well defending herself, but she ends up does getting like what cut or scratched by one of them, and apparently they are like super toxic, and she basically passes out, right? If I'm remembering
Yes.
correctly.
So the vamps come in. They are vampires, but in this world, vampires are different. You have your lord vampires, like we're going to talk about in a little bit, who are human-esque, elf-esque, right? They have their mind, they have all of that stuff, and you have what are called feeders. They are vampire, but like bottom rung, bottom tier. They don't have their mind. They just do as told. They listen to whoever is controlling them, which we find out later and stuff like that. And these feeders, the vamps, while they're having dinner, break in and like they're subhuman, right? They have no intellectual thought. They're kind of just animalistic, but they are quick. They are powerful to the point that Kingfisher, who is shown to be a badass on the battlefield, right? Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but he's a badass on the battlefield, preface that he's fighting two of them, and the third one gets to Ceres and cuts her. Isn't it like here? Right?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where, but yeah, it kind of scratches her,
Yeah.
gets their poison in them.
Yeah. So gets his poison in her, the black ichor. And, but like, the fact that Kingfisher wasn't able to just take out all three, knowing what I know now, is kind of crazy and kind of bad writing. But
Well,
so
it was just a complete surprise, like
he still had Nimmerale.
You do it for the plot, okay?
Yeah, the plot, I guess, is what matters. But anyways, this is really the first time it shows that he kind of cares for Ceres, right? Because to this point, he's been callous, he's been whatever. But he gets her to a healer. He takes care of her, tells her to hold on, tells her what to do to survive and all that stuff. But they come in and they're talked about the feeders. They have like long, like finger, like scratchy talons, I guess, and stuff. And they're just quick and they're ferocious and they act without any regard. It's like they sense the fear and the blood and was like after it, is the way the book described it, or something like that.
Yeah. But like he dispatches them after one scratches, but like you could tell that he truly cares, because like immediately he's like rushing her to the to the healer. But I mean, at this point you can still like, hey, she's the only alchemist. Is it really for that? Like, does he care about her, or is it just he doesn't want to lose the only alchemist and his only shot at helping his people, like that kind of thing? So it's kind of still like on the fence about like the will they, won't they kind of thing. But basically, when she wakes up, she actually wakes up in. Hold on, we got a comment from Jarius. I just wanted to commend you both on the naming of this podcast. Nothing more true about this podcast could be said.
J Boogie, I miss your face, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. I need to call you just to catch up, but I hope you're doing well. I miss you.
Yeah. But she wakes up in Kingfisher's bed, which that you're like, oh, okay. So if it was just because she's the only alchemist, he would have put her back where she woke up the first time, like in that room with Carry On and that kind of thing. And then like he's going to go off somewhere, and he basically like he uses the oath yet again and says like, you can't leave this bed until you're fully healed or something, till the venom is fully out of you, that kind of thing. Which,
well, he tells her 7 days. You cannot get out of the bed for 7 days except for the bathroom and back, right? And she hates it. She's pissed off that he did it again because she has told him not to do it over and over and over. But this time it is for her well-being, right? Because the ichor could spread, all that stuff. But she's like, I feel better. But then Carrion comes to visit her and she can't leave.
Yep. Oh, and like that whole conversation with him, like he kind of tells her about well, he has new boots. She's like, oh, you have new boots. And he's like, yeah, Kingfisher gave them to me. All I had to do was take a bath. And then it kind of allures to the scent thing yet again. He's like, I don't know, they scrubbed me all over with this like moss or fungus or whatever.
So it shows that Kingfisher cares for Ceres more than he leads on, because he is so another trope in these books is like jealousy, ownership, and stuff like that. So Kingfisher, although he has not professed that he cares for Ceres or anything like that, he is aggravated at the relationship that Carrion and Ceres had, which was, sexual in nature.
Yes, a relation.
A relation.
Just that, like not a relationship, like a one-night stand, basically.
Yeah, but he could still smell it on them. So he asked the water sprites to bathe Carrion, and Carrion didn't know why initially. Like, we talk about it later. Didn't know why initially, but he's like, dude, like, he enjoyed the bath. He talked about the water sprites being very
thorough,
voluptuous, and thorough, and all those things. And then he goes on to include that they scrubbed layers of skin off, and he had no idea why. First off, that would hurt. I don't care how thorough. Like, you ain't scrubbing layers of skin off. That's crazy work, right? But it's so that Fisher, and the other Fae, right, could not smell that they had relations, which also leads us into something that we will probably talk about next time because we're short on time. But again, I want to stress that the Fae all of them can smell when you're hot and bothered or when you've had relations.
Yeah. Which is, I guess they have that the herb or whatever that they scrubbed Carrion in. So I guess like they use that, but it's still like a very awkward, like, oh wow, everyone can smell you from a mile away, basically, like walk into a room. and you're not hiding anything, which kind of adds like a funny, just I guess that's that adds to the tension and stuff like that, especially when more than one Fae is in the room, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Which we will talk about this next time when we get into the war camp, right? But when they get to the war camp, it is very relevant because of the actions that Ceres takes, what she does, and then her kind of insecurities of smelling like that, and stuff of that nature. And Joe, I would assume this is pretty solid because it's going to go from here to the war camp, right?
Yep. Yeah. Basically, like after she recovers, he comes back and takes her and Carrie on both to the war camp, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So.
Yeah, and at this point, Carrion is just along for the ride. He doesn't even care anymore. He's not overly bitchy. He doesn't understand all of it, which it is spoken about that he knew this world existed. His grandmother gave him books and writings about the Fae, so like he's not shocked. And Ceres is very confused. He's not. He's just like whatever, And
she was like, "You're very okay with this. Like you're literally like." In a different world, snatched up from your home, like that kind of things, and you're just like taking it like nothing happened. He's like, yeah, it's like this was fun. He's like, did I think it would happen to me? No, but like I knew that this stuff existed because my grandmother read me these stories and stuff like that, which I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Joe, do we want to call it there and pick it up on going to the war camp because we got a lot to talk about at the war camp.
Yeah, the war camp stuff starts going down. But we can pick up next time on that. But thank you all for.
We got one more quick comment.
We do have one more quick comment. I've read all of these. I'm so glad you brought up the scrubbing of the moss.
Scrubbing of the moss is important. It's big, and it's even referenced later as well. So we had to talk about it.
Yeah, and then. Sophia says hello, so hello to you. But thanks everyone for jumping on and listening to us talk about Quicksilver. We'll be back again next week with, I guess, starting with like chapter 20-ish. We try to get through 5 chapters a week, 20 to 25. It really just depends on how the conversation goes. Sometimes we get through like 1 chapter, but and then hopefully soon, Nate, you will be able to start the second book, and we'll start the second book together. I think it's called Brimstone. But
Bro, why are you even
let's get through the first one,
Joe? You're gonna finish the book in 2 days. I'm gonna finish the first 5 chapters in 3 weeks.
Well, because the way my memory's set up is I will forget it before you even start reading it. So I'm gonna wait at least until you start, so it's kind of fresh.
Okay, that works. That tracks. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, listening with us. We will catch you all next week, same time, same day. All the good. Actually, that might not be true. I'm flying to Texas next week.
Well, we'll see. We will see.
I'll take it from the airport. I would love to talk about this in the open at the airport.
Yes, that'd be
great. Everyone judge me. I don't care. I'll just hold my phone, walk around, talk about the goodness. Yeah. I'm a big supporter of this book, so I think everybody should read it.
Oh, take a hard copy of the book with you and just be like, hey, have you read this? And then get like live commentary on it.
I'm just going to pull up Audible and put it on speaker and walk around with it just to get people's reaction.
We don't want you to get kicked out. Security starts escorting you off. But
yeah, sir, you can't listen to that. Sir, this is a book. You need to calm down.
Yeah. All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see y'all sometime next week.
See y'all.